Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to episode number 41 of 10-Minute Kick-Ass Coaching for Friday. I am on the road on my way up to Westchester County, New York, almost to Connecticut. So going up there doing a very large loss, a large mold and lead abatement type job. I've been back and forth on for the last few weeks between other client engagements and of course my responsibilities. So the talk today I want to get over really, and this one's really important. It keeps coming up to me over and over again. Questions, people send me private message me questions about it. I know I deal with my clients on it quite a bit. But it's really about project management. What is project management? What is the need for it? What is not the need for it? What are the important parts of it? And what does a project manager actually do? And people have various definitions, everything from technically a sales rep is a project manager to a person that runs the entire job. For instance, what I'm doing right now on this particular job is I am running the entire project itself. So I am there much of the time, but when I'm not there, instructions are given. Somebody else has a license or certification from the state of New York in order to do work and be on site when I'm not there. So it's, again, a rather large job. I am managing the project. Did I sell the job? Yes. Did I manage everybody's expectations? Yes. When it came to our technicians? Yes. Did I manage the customer's expectations? Yes. Did I manage the billing and logistical things, the requirements of the state of New York, the written mold plan, photographs before and after, and everything to do the job correctly the first time? That would be yes, to the best of my ability. That to me is what a project manager does. A project manager goes into a job location and actually looks at the job site, figures out what needs to get done, all the steps and processes in order to make that happen, and then effectively communicates that to both the customer and also the crew that's out there. Both of equal importance, because without the crew knowing exactly what's going on, they're going to do a little guesswork. And if they're really good at it, that's awesome. That's great. It's rare, but it's great. But it does happen, especially on a job that requires a project manager. I'm not just talking about small little project. I'm talking about something that's usually a little bit substantial to make that work. So I will absolutely say 110% that having a project manager on an effective job, on a sizable job, is given. So that person is responsible for managing that relationship between the customer, between the client, between your technicians and your office, so everybody knows what's going on. So an example of this is this particular project is pretty big. It's not big compared to some other jobs, but we're in the tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars on this. I think we're in the $30,000 to $50,000 range, to say easiest. And that's a sizable job. I don't care where you're at, especially for something that is a one building structure, basement of the particular project, older building, a lot of variables to it. But in doing what I'm doing, in order to pass the air control inspection that will be pretty much required post remediation, will require me to be very thorough, very detailed in what gets done. So whether I do that work, which I was there for much of it, or I have other people do it, I have to make sure the work is done. So if I have a very qualified technician go in there to do the job, all in their own what's called PPE, which is safety gear that they're going to wear, and they go in to do the actual work themselves, I have to make sure I inspect it before I sign off on it. Two reasons. Number one, I'm the one that wrote the mold plan, and the work plan is actually what it's referred to as, that goes to the state of New York and is a piece of record. Not every state requires this. New York State happens to require this for various reasons. But making sure that exact plan is implemented, done, followed through, and completed correctly, and is in accordance with that plan. And it's the law here again in New York. It's not something I can say, well, we can finagle this or finagle that. That's bullshit. It doesn't work that way. When it's the law in New York, it's the law in New York. I think it's the law in New Orleans. It's also the law in Florida. Pretty much anywhere where a major hurricane or major water currents, and I'm pretty sure it's going to come to Texas too as well after what they dealt with this past year. But you have to make sure everything is in accordance with it. One of those examples of a mold plan is the state of New York, and it's a workplace safety related issue. Let me get into that. So because of that, I have to make sure that We did all the process procedures, pre-pictures, post-pictures, during pictures. Now, on this particular job, there'll be 100+ pictures, no question, probably considerably above the 100 pictures that describe before the conditions, during the conditions, after the conditions, and whatever the final result is. So when the hygienist comes in order to do the air sample test, they know I followed their written plan to the letter of the law, and now I'm doing my particular part of it to make sure that whatever happens gets accomplished, and I follow what that person writes, because that person to me is my superior. Even though they don't work for me, the customer's working. They're in between me and the customer. Now, I happen to work with a very good, very, very thorough, and sometimes very difficult to pass hygienist, but he's good. This particular person is very, very good, very thorough, very detailed. So for me, it covers my ass because it's being done right. I know it's being done right. I like it. So I'm able to effectively communicate between the customer, the technicians, and the state of New York. That is managing a project. You're the point person between everything that's going on that job. So bear with me here. I'm just dealing with a little bit of traffic, and it's a Friday. So it's what it is. When you have your business, let's say you have a construction company, project manager is effectively doing the exact same thing. They are managing the responsibility between the employer they have. Maybe they are the employer, maybe they're the lead person. It doesn't make a difference. The customer and the people that are in the field. They are your contractors, your construction workers, whatever the case it is. You have different trades within construction, so it can get very a lot. But make sure that he's making sure, or she is making sure that this project is done completely correctly, and they're the go-between between everybody. So their responsibility is to effectively make sure that the people that are doing the work, the contractors, the workers, construction workers, technicians, whatever that is, they know what to do so they can accomplish their part of their task. They're working with the customer. That customer would be a general contractor and you're a subcontractor. If you're not, you're the one dealing directly with the end consumer, the customer, the client, I should say. And they're also making sure everything gets done when it comes to the legalities of the job. If you're in the plumbing and heating trade near New York, you've got an enormous amount of things that have to get accomplished in order to get the city of New York in particular on board and happy with it. Different parts of New York is a big state, so it can change greatly between it. So effectively, the role of a project manager to me, from my experience, and I've done it numerous times, is making sure you're the liaison essentially, and that person is managing multiple parts of it. They're doing it effectively. It requires a lot of note-taking, requires a lot of thinking, and it requires a lot of thinking on the fly. But if you plan everything out like a correct project manager, in my opinion, should, making sure everything is done, you're not going to have things coming back at you. When you're dealing with legal issues like we do, you can't afford to have that. Your name is on that. The company has it. I have what's referred to as an assessor ability to do assessments on the job, inspections of the job, but also do the work. I don't do both because that's a conflict of interest. But I can do either or in the state of New York when it comes to what's proper, what's not proper, and getting it done. And I'm a real detailed kind of guy. Anybody that knows me, I see John Mathis is on there, he'll tell you that. I'm a very detail-oriented guy, so I want to make sure everything is completed correctly to the best of my ability. If I screw up, I know I did everything I possibly could. So why not do it right and put the extra effort out there? That's the way your project manager really needs to be seen. Project manager needs to be noted and seen as a person that can take responsibility for making sure this gets done. It's a hard position, just like I talked about an office manager being a hard position, but it's a vital position. And I know several extremely good project managers out across the country that are an asset to their organization tenfold, no matter if they're working for the biggest player on the block or the smallest player on the block. They're worth their money in gold because they're making sure that relationship is managed correctly. That's what a project manager does. A project manager is not necessarily sell the job. That's a salesman or a representative, or an inspector might be also considered a salesman, but the project manager is making sure the job gets done effectively and make sure that every detail gets handled correctly so the client gets the end result at the end of the day. So guys, I welcome your comments. Please feel free to add something to it. If you agree or disagree, by all means, please let me know. This has been my role when I work with companies Usually when they're dealing with project managers, companies in the millions of dollars every single year revenue, and I know that that's how they handle things, and sometimes I've had to go in and explain or reinterpret what the role is so they understand what the generalized rule for a project manager tends to be. From my experience, is that's what they do, and the better they do it, the better everybody is. Their life is a lot easier, the headaches are a lot lower, and it gets accomplished. So essentially that person is managing a whole bunch of different things at the same time, but they're all within the same context. So if you've got 5 projects going on, you're probably a very busy project manager at that point if you're doing 5 real projects, but you're making sure everything from A to Z is covered, and you're making sure that's being communicated to the customer. It doesn't matter if you have a lead technician on the job site, either way, it should also come from you, and it should damn well be the same thing that person that's the lead on the job. So make sure you communicate effectively. If you have a lead technician or a lead position person or supervisor on a job, that you two talk before you talk to the client to make sure your stories are on the same page, because sometimes people have different interpretations of things. Make sure you're saying the same thing. It'll make them very, very happy. All right, guys, I really don't have much else today. I really appreciate being here. Again, I'm on the road. I'm in New Jersey now, heading to Mamaroneck is the name of the town. That's where I've been working this large project. We should be closing everything out today. It's been almost a month that we've been up there with a small crew, because we've been very, very busy with other jobs and projects, and I've been all over the place with some of the projects I've been doing personally for the coaching consulting business. So it's been a wild ride. Getting ready for another month of it. February will also be kind of wild, I think. I predict the weather's going to be the same way, so we'll all be very, very busy if you're in the disaster restoration field, or any trade field for that matter, because whether it's now or the summer, you're going to feel it. So, all right, guys, have a great day, have a great Friday, have an awesome weekend. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me for episode number 41 of 10-Minute Kick-Ass Coaching from the road again. Just wanted to get this out to you, and again, feel free to comment, feel free to put some questions on there. I'll try and answer. Maybe we can interact with each other and come up with some different ideas, even far above what I am talking about. All right, have a great day. Thanks. Bye.